offshoot a little bit. I know you like horror movies and vampires and werewolves and stuff. Did you ever watch Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
You know, I've seen parts of it, but you would have to fill me in a little bit to kind of...
It was... Do you remember the old show called Bewitched?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, it was about a witch that was living in the Muggle world.
Right.
That we found out.
She kind of make a weird sound when she wiggled her nose.
Yeah, ticka. Yeah. Like the sound you do when you hit my wind chime when you get up every once in a while from the podcast.
What was it called again?
Bewitched.
Oh, Bewitched. I'm thinking of My Dream of Jeannie, maybe.
Yeah, she was in a bottle. No, Bewitched, she wiggled her nose.
Oh, okay. All right.
Offshooting on it, but Sabrina the Teenage Witch, she had a pet cat named Salem.
Oh, yes.
Black cat. He talked. He was like their fine familiar, if you will. They're familiar, much like Harry Potter has the cats and stuff. But this cat kind of just directing them and all that stuff in different ways and things. So, who else do I got on here? I wrote a lot of notes down here. I got to go back to Star Trek here in a minute too. You ever watch the cartoon animated series called Futurama?
Oh, absolutely.
It was an offshoot of like The Simpsons a little bit. There was a Leela, which was the one-eyed gal on there, hot one-eyed gal. She had a pet called Nibbler.
Nibbler, okay.
A little monster about this size, wore a diaper, eats anything, and never gets bigger. Well, it turns out that he was an alien species from a planet, and he was their king. They called him Lord Nibbler.
Oh, yeah. And they always made reference that he could eat anything. Yep. Yes, I got you.
And when he pooped a round ball about the size of a golf ball. It was pure black antimatter.
Right.
And that's what they would power their ship with. Right. So that was another pet on things. Another offshoot. You ever seen the old television live-action show called Land of the Lost?
It sounds familiar.
Not the one with Will Ferrell, but this was a television series that went for...
I probably have not watched it.
It went to 2 or 3 seasons. Great stop-motion animation for the time. They had the Sleestak guy on there. Marshall, Will, and Holly on a routine expedition.
Okay. All right.
Met the greatest earthquake ever known. High on the rapids, it struck their tiny raft and plunged them down 1,000 feet below to the land of the lost. Great kids show. Way before its time. They went into quantum mechanics, time travel, aliens. Holly, the daughter.
Did Brandon Fraser play in this?
No, that was no. That's another movie. Oh. This is way before Brandon Fraser.
I know.
Brandon Fraser wasn't even a gleam in his daddy's eye when this thing came out. She named all the dinosaurs after Disney characters.
Oh, okay.
The girl did. So
they like Snow White?
No. They had Tyrannosaurus Rex, which was the main kind of bad guy dinosaur as they are. She named him Grumpy.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
She named an Allosaurus. That was Grumpy's counterpart, Alice from Alice in the Wonderland. But she made a pet of a baby brontosaurus, and she called him Dopey. And that was actually her pet. She would ride it like a pony and all that. The Dopey episodes were not my favorite because they kind of went all kid on you and stuff. And he had kind of a theme song that went with him or not. So that was another pet that I remember from my childhood was Dopey the brontosaurus baby from Land of the Lost. What about you? What you got?
I got the Flintstones. You know, they had the dinosaurs. That was their,
Dino.
Yeah.
Was a velociraptor.
That's right. Yeah.
If Dino would have been a real velociraptor, he would have eaten the Flintstones.
I agree.
But he did lick Fred a lot.
Right.
Yep. And they had a cat, which is a saber-toothed tiger as well.
There you go. Yeah.
But then they have a lot of animals, and the Flintstones they used as mechanical things.
Right.
You know, like
the work in the construction and.
Yep. They had a big brontosaurus as a drag line, and Fred would always just slide down the back of that thing. But yes, Dino's a great one. Dino and Scooby-Doo in a fight. Who wins? The Velociraptor wins. The Velociraptor always wins,
absolutely.
Randy.
You're right. But I was trying to think of, so what's involved? Is Scooby Snacks involved? Are big ham sandwiches involved?
No, because the Velociraptor would eat everything.
Would he? Okay.
Because it's a Velociraptor.
Is he fast enough to catch Scooby-Doo?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You've seen
so?
Dino run
that's right. Yes,
jump on Fred
right.
and lick the crap out of him,
That would be a sad episode.
It would be a very sad episode. So
I'm
liking how you're going with the cartoons on this.
Right.
So.
Well, I mean, I don't think you feel like it was, but I thought E.T. was, Drew Barrymore's pet.
All right. Same concept as Cat from Outer Space.
Right.
Is it a pet or is it an alien? She treated it as a pet.
Right.
Because that's what the concept was.
Right. She dressed it up. She,
it was that movie with a big hairy unhairy monkey, wasn't it? And he had a finger that lit up that he put up your nose. Ouch. Of course, I remember E.T. I understand where you're going with that. I don't think he was really a pet, but it's just like the Cat from Outer Space we were talking about. So good one. That's a good one. So you ever watched the movie, the very first movie called Alien?
Yeah, absolutely.
With Sigourney Weaver. They did a whole series of them. You're familiar with that?
I love them.
She had a cat on their spaceship.
I have to go back and rewatch that because that has been a long time ago.
His name was Jonesy.
Jonesy.
It was another orange cat, and he would always kind of get all freaked out and hissy when the alien would come around.
Right, would be near and stuff.
And all that,
Yeah.
So.
Oh, but
Jonesy.
That's good. Yeah, Jonesy.
There's another one to look up,
Yes.
So.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's two movies on here I want to talk about that I have never watched, and maybe you have. Let me find it where it was. I put it on here. I Am Legend. Bruce Willis.
Will Smith.
What did I say? Bruce Willis?
Yeah.
Will Smith, get jiggy with it. Come on now. My mind's racing.
What?
What?
What? You're
what?
Right. You're right.
What? What are you going all Little John on me here?
No.
So.
Okay.
What?
No, you're right though. He was in love with the canine because he. You've never seen the movie, have you?
I can't because I heard what happens to the dog, and
That's his companion, and there is a time where the dog actually saves his life because I don't know if you remember me telling me that the dog went into a dark building, and these these zombies can't.
Was Bruce Willis one of them?
You know what? He may have.
Okay, all right. So the dog.
That would be cool.
The dog's name is Samantha. It was a female.
Samantha goes into this dark house, and you have to avoid that during the day. And at night, Will Smith his house is all boarded up and no lights because that draws the zombies.
Right.
But they come out at night, and in that scene. We've already talked about this in earlier
podcast,
in a zombie podcast, where the dog goes in, and Will loves that dog so much he goes in there and he finds the zombies are all huddled up, and they're doing this, and he's like, Samantha, get out of here, come on, and he finally actually gets the dog, and they're running from the zombies, and they bust through, and they're out in the sunlight, and one of them exposes himself to show that he's thinking. But what he didn't realize is Will had kidnapped and caught him in a trap, his wife, and was actually performing tests in his lab that was turning these people, that he was getting close to turning them back to real humans.
Okay.
But the zombies don't know that. They're not that sophisticated in the brain.
Right.
So the dog, he uses the dog to, Will Smith talks to dummies. You remember Tom Hanks talks to the Wilson Ball?
Yeah.
So he's by himself. He's talking to dummies in a CD shop. He goes in there, finds CDs because there's nobody around in New York.
Right.
And he's driving down the road, and the dummy he always talks to in the CD shop is standing out in the middle of the road. And this zombie comes or puts him.
Are you talking about a mannequin?
Right. Puts a mannequin out there. The zombie comes and sets a trap with the mannequin, and Will Smith sees that the dummy has moved from the CD shop like a Specs or a Turtles,
right,
and is now in the middle of the road.
Okay.
Yeah. And what happens is, because God, it's a fantastic movie, but Will Smith sees it and his mind ain't right, and he's like, "Oh my God, you've moved!" Where? Not thinking that the zombies have moved.
They're trying to trap him.
And they trap him. And because of the dog helps him survive. that encounter.
Right.
But I want to say that's the scene where the dog dies.
All right. That's why I have not watched that, because I can't.
Oh, it's worth it though, even though that.
See, there's always been this Hollywood standpoint where in a movie you can't kill an animal or a kid.
Right.
So that brings me to a great movie that I'm sure you've seen dozens of times. They've just remade it. They're going to do another one, Pet Cemetery.
Oh my God, yes, absolutely.
Cat gets run over.
Freaky as hell.
They go and bury the cat in the spooky pet cemetery, and it's an orange cat.
Right, and these cats, it comes back, and absolutely, yeah.
That's they're in horror movies as well. Not to mention Cujo.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if they're ever going to remake that movie.
I hope they make a 2. I don't want to see a damn remake of it.
Right. That was a Saint Bernard. Great. Cujo was a Saint Bernard.
It was, it was great. I know it's not science fiction-y, but
Turner
and Hooch.
Turner and Hooch, that was great. It. There's a lot of good pet movies,
Oh, yeah.
A lot of great pet movies. A very old pet movie, and I've never seen this movie either, and you probably have not either, but it's called A Boy and His Dog.
A Boy and His Dog.
Don Johnson, young Don Johnson. Miami Vice, yep.
Oh,
and they had a dog in there, and its name was Blood. And Blood had almost kind of like telepathic powers. It was a futuristic movie. Again, I'm talking out my ass here because I've never seen it. But I've heard it's really awesome. It's really old. It's a classic science fiction movie. You know, so pets are everywhere.
They are, and I didn't realize that till I started looking up.
I know. That Google. The Google is awesome. The Google is awesome. Real quick, talking about internet and such. Please, if you like our podcast, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to our Facebook page. Like our Facebook page, because we don't just do the podcast and vlogs and all that. We put in some funny things. We have a podcast coming up where we're going to be going out on the street talking to Batman fans.
Right.
Nope. There was a Batman had a pet dog. Everybody says Bat Dog, but it's not. His name is Ace.
Ace.
It was in the Batman Beyond. It was a Doberman Pinscher.
Yep.
And we're going to be talking to people out on the street at Batman Day at Main Street Comics and Memorabilia, and make sure you jump in and listen to that. If you have any suggestions for podcasts or anything else you want to see here, or for anything that we need to change or whatever, we'll take that under consideration and we'll give you credit for it. What else? That's about it on our Facebook page.
Yeah. I mean, if you like podcasting, we're on iHeartRadio, we're on Spotify, we're on, if you iPhone, iTunes, we're on Google Play Music for Android users. We're everywhere, basically. Radiopublic. Podbean. You can find us anywhere. If you're riding around in your car, everybody's got these smart cars. You just hook your phone right to it, and you can listen to us on your long 1-hour drives.
Yep. It's easy. It's fun. We try to make this podcast smooth and fun and something you can laugh to. There's too much serious crap in the world today, but we try to make this a little bit different. Every Tom, Dick, and Deuce do a podcast. I have to pick on my friend Kyle because they have a great podcast called Happy Hour with Johnny and Deuce. That's why I always say that.
Yep.
They mostly focus on cosplayers, wrestlers, and video games.
Trucks, anything. Yeah.
And we kind of stick to the sci-fi world, but we bridge off a little bit. But we try to make it fun, a little bit different, something to give you a little chuckle during the day. And we're just two regular guys just talking about science fiction. We might not remember the name of the movie or who the star was, Bruce Willis or whatever.
Will Smith,
whatever. But it's funny. I'm gonna bridge off into something where I was going somewhere with this a second ago. We didn't talk about Alf, alien life form.
All right, yeah.
Was he a pet, or does he fall under the animal from outer space like E.T.?
Did somebody claim him? I'm not really sure.
Willie!
Oh, that's right.
He ate cats. That was his thing.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, I would have to go with that. That's, he's an animal.
So if an alien comes down and gets lost and hides itself in your daughter's bedroom buried in a bunch of animals, if you find it, you can claim it as a pet.
Right.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
If a stray cat comes up to you and you're a crazy cat lady feeding a bunch of freaking cats, or a crazy dragon lady feeding a bunch of cats or whatever, and a stray cat comes up that looks really healthy and all that, and it has a really funny glowing necklace on, can you claim that as your cat?
Absolutely, I would say so.
Yeah. So,
in Men in Black, they used the cat. It was the morgue, the lady that ran the morgue, and the cat had the crystal.
The galaxies.
Yeah.
The galaxy is around Orion's belt.
Right, that's right. And Orion was...
the cat.
The cat.
You're right. That's a good one.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah.
You ever seen the...
Another Will Smith. I mean...
yeah, another Will Smith. Bruce Willis.
Bruce
Willis is a Men in Black. That would be really awesome. He'd go to shoot an alien. He goes, "Adios, motherfucker."
No, that's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, that's what Bruce Willis said.
Oh, did he?
And the Christmas movie that he's in.
Oh yeah,
the Christmas movie that
don't
Bruce
get
Willis
people
in.
started on that.
What? It is a Christmas. It is a Christmas movie.
I agree.
It happened at Christmas. Is Gremlins a Christmas movie?
Absolutely.
It happens at Christmas.
That's right.
Yep, it's a Christmas movie.
Absolutely.
That's a story for many more podcasts down the road.
Yep.
Wall-E.
Yeah, Pet Roach. That's right.
Pet
Oh
Roach.
my God.
Pet
yes.
Roach's name was Hal.
Yeah.
Which they kind of paid homage to 2001: A Space Odyssey because Hal was the computer that went crazy in that movie. Or did he go crazy?
No.
We don't know. You know, so there's pets everywhere.
There is.
Bugs can be pets. You know.
Yeah.
SETI Alpha 5 eel. You know, things like that. You know.
Absolutely.
I didn't mention Fluffy, the three-headed dog that guarded the. What was he guarding? The Sorcerer's Stone in the first Harry Potter movie.
Yep.
And they put him to sleep by playing music from a harp.
Yeah.
You know. The Klingons. We talked about the Tribbles earlier. Right. They had a creature they kept called a Targ. T-A-R-G. Targ.
I have to check that out.
They were pig-like, looked like a wild hog with a bunch of spikes down it. I have one, but I'm not going to get up and show it to you. But big tusk, but they were kept as pets. Star Trek 3, the Klingon commander of the bird of prey, he had a Targ beside him. It looked more of a lizard kind of thing. But they have different types of ideas of what the Targ. Worf had one, and it was as a boy, and it was a big pig-looking thing. But they ate them.
Wow.
So if you had this pet and it was a Targ, and they want to have like a Hawaiian barbecue, they'd kill some bitch and cook him and eat him.
Up, man. Sounds
Actually,
good.
they didn't cook him; they'd eat him raw because Klingons are into raw food and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Big sushi fans.
Were they native to their planet?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
They were native to their planet. So, Mr. Spock in the animated series, they did an animated series of Star Trek.
I learned that through these podcasts with you.
He had a pet called a Salot, and it was a big, giant tiger. Not man, bear, pig, but it was a tiger and kind of a bear, kind of a mixed, and they're usually aggressive animals, like a tiger or a lion is. But Spock had one. Achaya was the Salot's name, and he actually saved Spock in the well, not really. Something happened to the pet Salot and Achaya, and it helped Spock through his manhood kind of a thing. So when he was growing up as a child. So, gosh, is a face hugger from Aliens a pet? I mean, they curl up inside of you, get warm and cuddly.
I think that's a little stretching it
and
a
they
little
come
bit.
out like, hello, baby. Hello, my darling. Hello. Spaceballs. You ever seen it?
Oh, my God, yes.
You remember that? you remember that?
Oh,
what?
God.
You remember that? So,
oh, my God.
we could talk about this all day because we're having way too much fun. But I want to mention a couple sponsors real quick because we are running out of time.
Yeah.
I got to mention our sponsors. And I'm going to mention some friends that are sponsors and people that are not that need to be sponsors. And what do you have to do to become a sponsor? It doesn't necessarily have to be monetary. It could be support and posting our podcast and spreading the news about us. My sister-in-law that owns SNL Restaurant, I get hamburgers. When my wife and I go up there, she gives us hamburgers and all that stuff, which, every once in a while we'll have breakfast up there. Great restaurant in Lakeland. Check it out. They have a Facebook page. J&E Creations, which does our Syfy Bartow Cup. I know I talk about this all the time, but Syfy Bartow is coming up fast. Yeah. It's in February. Our friends at J&E are creating these really awesome cups. They have the Syfy Bartow logo on it, and they'll customize it. I have a Star Trek logo. Someone got a TARDIS. Right. Your wife, and it didn't have the Syfy logo on it, and tell her I'm pissed about that because she's not advertising for us. But she got a Joker and Harley Quinn.
Right, that represents
her and what's the saying that she has on the back of it?
The saying is, I'll put it at the bottom and just move my lips and act like the video went out.
Do you even love your wife? I mean, you don't know nothing about it.
I do love it.
Here, move your lips again. My name is just Randy, and I'm on a podcast with my buddy Sean.
I'm as southern as it gets.
You think I've been eating some Scooby-Doo snacks during this podcast?
Oh my God, this is
what a great one! This has been a great one.
Yeah.
I mentioned Main Street Comics and Memorabilia. They're doing Batman Day. Probably by the time you see this, it'll be over, but it's the 21st of September.
Yeah.
John and his wife are great people. They support us. Main Street Bartow Incorporated, which sponsors Sci-Fi Bartow, which is February the 15th.
15th, yep.
2020. It's a Saturday. Great event. Free to come and enjoy. You can see all kinds of guest authors and artists, and we've interviewed R. Bruce McGill is going to be there. We've talked about Robert Robertson, the Bigfoot Sasquatch guy. And we have many more. Chilton Signs is going to be there. My buddy Thomas, he was on a couple of our podcasts earlier this month, and they're going to be there. They're going to be doing a live car wrap where they actually put like a coating around a car. It looks like a spaceship or something.
We have this. It's a group. It is worldwide, and it's called Anime Cars of the World. They normally send 15 to 20 cars.
Yep,
and they'll be here.
Is Romeo the president or that?
Of the Florida chapter.
Of the Florida chapter. He's a really nice guy.
We're going to have him on our show explaining all the good stuff for the kids that they do.
That sounds like a great... I didn't know that. It's great for you to arrange that. We have a lot of guests coming up that we haven't pulled out yet, but you know, the popularity of Talking Sci-Fi is growing by leaps and bounds. Yeah. When Randy approached me about this show, I said, no, everybody's doing it. I don't want to do it. And he finally convinced me. He pretty much just said, we're doing it. And I enjoy it. We film a couple episodes back to back. Sometimes we do some little short, what do you call them? Little short videos.
Yeah, just short videos. You know, Star Wars puns, Star Trek puns, drinking shows,
how to mix drinks and things like that. Check it out; it's a lot of fun. Tell your friends. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Send us pictures of your pets dressed in costumes.
Absolutely,
we would love to have that, or any stories about your pets. You know, just like I brought my dog Kitty on at the beginning of the show, right here in this picture.
Please, pets, send your pets.
Because we're going to do more episodes about animals and such. Because you've opened up a lot of Pandora's box with me on that. You know, but slaves, or pets.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. We will see you very soon on Talking Sci-Fi with Sci-Fi Sean and
Just Randy.
Have a great day. Live long and prosper. We'll see you soon.